Phil Mickelson is one of the most hated golfers. Here's why. As the PGA and the Saudi-backed LIV league continues, there's been a lot of stuff going on. It turns out the tug-war between both leagues is actually changing old pals into foes. Join me in today's video as I reveal why Phil Mickelson is one of the most hated golfers. Controversial statements about Phil Mickelson. The Professional Golfers Association, aka PGA Tour, and LIV Golf League have been involved in constant rivalries against each other and the golfers. And is this battle going to end anytime soon? I really don't think so. Even if both leagues somehow resolve the split, I believe the golfers might not remain good friends anymore. Yes, I'm talking about none other than the fiery statements from Fred Couples and Phil Mickelson. Yes, guys, I do know he's an old friend of Phil Mickelson and is a popular golfer if we talk specifically about golfing legends. He has also been in the headlines for mocking golf players for leaving PGA tours and heading towards the LIV Golf Stars just to spend more time with their families. Now 62 years old, Fred Couples is one of the legendary golf players, just like his old friend Phil Mickelson. And as I'm talking about legendary golf players, remember guys, it includes all the amazing players who have already enjoyed fame for decades. Fred was a former world number one. Until this time, he has won around 64 professional tournaments. Other achievements include winning a Masters tournament and 2 Players' Championship wins. Enough of Fred's achievements. But what I want to tell you is that when this legend has something with someone, it really means that there is something fishy. Okay, so when he first saw Phil joining the LIV League, he didn't say anything about it. However, not every time you'll see Fred not being vocal. So he recently spoke up. And as he spoke, he did with quite a lot of intensity. And I'm sure you guys will sense the agony he has for Phil from his words. While talking to a talk show, Fred said he doesn't think he'll ever talk to Phil. But what could be the reason behind Fred making such a huge claim? Can you guys guess it? Can you really? Yeah, right. I know you guys would sense the reason for trouble here. Yes, the reason behind Fred cutting up the ties with Phil Mickelson is because of him joining the LIV League. And this is the main reason Fred claims he's no longer in the same boat as his old pal Phil Mickelson. Because Phil won't be in the PGA Tours, so Fred doesn't have any reason to remain in contact with him. But if you thought this was all the Fred Couples and Phil Mickelson's conflict, then wait, because there's more to that. Fred also said Phil looks stupid in the press conferences he's appeared in. One major reason LIV League haters have been reporting is the funding resource the league receives. So basically, LIV is backed by the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Prince Mohammed bin Salman invested in the LIV League to promote the country's image as a progressive country that takes an interest in sports, especially golf. Fred Couples, because of this reason, denies joining the LIV League and reasons it the way like no one other has ever done. Fred said that if your son died getting hit by a car by a drunk driver, he would do anything to stop drunk people from driving for the rest of his life. So, he believed that the families affected by 9/11 should also feel the same way about Saudi Arabia. Even though his statement has been subjected to a lot of criticism, he still remained firm in his words. Silenced because of their bosses? Another reason Phil Mickelson is receiving hatred in his response at the conference and press clubs. He isn't giving out something hateful or anything, but he isn't responding in the proper manner either. As I have noticed Phil's weird and obnoxious behavior, his friends again, including Fred Couples, have also seen this pattern of his, as Fred goes by saying that every golf player, including Phil, has been responding to the media in a limited manner. What he meant by a limited response to the media, right? But what forced Fred to make such statements? So it comes out that he got his idea from the recent press conference of the golf players. During the interview, Phil Mickelson has somehow incoherent answers to the questions that journalists asked. And remember guys, when I mentioned before how Fred called Phil a stupid guy? Mickelson's shaky response to the press club was why Fred called him in such an unusual manner. Now, amidst all of this, don't forget that Phil and Fred remained some very good friends over the course of years. Fred, on the other hand, claimed that the conference made Phil appear the silliest he's ever appeared in his entire life. Ouch, that hurts. If you enjoy golf on a regular basis, you might know how Mickelson was before joining the LIV League. Oh, and once he also said that the country Saudi Arabia is involved in violating human rights. That's not exactly what he said, but guys, this is YouTube, and I have to take care of the regulations here. Fred says that the LIV League players seem to be muzzled, and they are refrained from sharing their own point of view. He further said that even if they all do this for money, they must still not be stopped from sharing their views. Additionally, Fred also said that Phil did nothing best for himself as a golf player. He believes that this Saudi finance golf league might be paying excellent wages. Still, their future is uncertain, and because of this, many players would avoid discussing the future of LIV League. The long friendship of Phil and Fred. The friendship of Phil and Fred dates way back. These two guys have been real buddies for a long time. And guys, if you thought that Fred didn't like Phil and is using this opportunity to bash him, then let me pop your bubble, as you were completely wrong. The friendship between Phil and Fred is way old. And this is the most upsetting part. Even though Fred is 10 years older than Phil, yet both of them were a treat for the golf lovers. Whether they were playing in a team or as rivals, the love they received was enormous. In fact, they were the most popular golfers of their time. And remember when last year they were both the vice captains of the US Ryder Cup winning team. And we have another reason to hate the LIV League. They are destroying friendships. I hope that soon both golfers will find a way to settle their rivalry. I mean, yes, tournaments are important, but they can never be as important as personal relationships that have lasted for years. So, what do you guys think of Phil's shaky and unusual behavior while talking to the journalist? Do you believe he has to say much about his decision to get into the LIV League? Share with us in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next one. Till then, stay safe and don't forget to subscribe. Bye-bye.